Welcome to a new session of Poker Time. We have some new players. It's exciting. Right there in the 2-seat just folding is Sandy, also known as Slutsky.
It's his last name.
That's what we're calling him, Slutsky.
That's his actual last name.
The Slut Man.
The Slut Man.
The Slut Man cometh.
Dusty. Dan Ross is not a new player. It's the same Dan Ross.
You just can't tell.
He just isn't wearing a hat, and he looks exactly like Chris Moneymaker.
It's definitely not Dan Ross. It's a different Dan Ross, clearly, right? That's not Dan Ross. That's not Undercover Ross. How could it be? Also, we have ATC there in the...
Did not actually call, so we're starting off great.
There's a lot of confusion early, as we see this hand's already
and
over.
Danny is as banana colored as
Yes.
he could possibly be, but of course, everybody's happy to see Danny, the audience, because he's a lot of fun to watch play poker.
Indeed.
There's Alex. He's new. I think you mentioned that. He's got King Jack under the gun. We're going to see what kind of medal he's got right away.
He's got the medal to call.
All right. Well, that's like a bronze-ish type medal.
But, it's pretty good. Third place.
That's by your convention, your Western convention. Danny's not letting this happen, of course.
Smartly.
ATC has folded 2 hands, so it feels like the name is wrong. But
Yes,
okay.
it does. Slutsky coming along.
The slut.
He actually, before we started, asked if he could just be called Slut. And there was a discussion about it. I'll say that. But ultimately, we all agreed probably Slutsky was a little bit better. But he was told it was okay. He could be called Slut if he wanted. He decided not to. Anyway, here we are. It's Queen 8-4.
Check.
Is Danny going to bet here? No. Makes sense.
There's the king for Alex.
Danny does pick up a gut shot.
Well, a jack would be a real disaster for Alex in this hand. Pretty clearly.
Yep, Danny's going to take a shot now, it looks like.
Understandably. Everyone checks again.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Nice. What a great reference.
In this case, Danny is the banana stand.
Huh. Well, he's sitting.
Yeah, the banana sit.
Slutsky has an easy fold with his 8, but Alex has a very straightforward call.
And Dusty's going to have another easy fold.
And once again, there's 3 jacks left in the deck, and all of them are just disastrous for Alex. Because the jack of diamonds is in his hand, so he'd be not afraid of anything. But that card, quick check back from Danny.
Welcome to Poker Time, Alex.
Here's some money.
Yeah.
Here's $440 more than when you started with. Congrats. See you next time.
Is he going to do the joke where he starts to rack up? Everybody loves doing that joke.
That is a
win.
classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's original, at least.
There's a lot of really funny poker jokes at the table people make live.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Like when somebody told me that they really disliked me just genuinely.
Yeah, when he was like that, you are a really bad person.
Yeah. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, you did. I remember one time we were at a tournament table together, and I was riding you, making fun of you about something or other. Not riding you, obviously, but you know what I mean. And someone else defended you, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever. Because I was like, "Grant, this person thinks you need defending."
I don't remember it, but
I thought it showed how weak you were.
Thank you,
Danny. Once again with Ace-10. I was gonna squeeze those cards.
You could call with this for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For 40 more.
This is a call. Alex agrees.
Sandy, does that say Bushwood? Is that a real?
Nice flop for Danny and absolutely nothing for Alex. Could easily check back as Danny. For a balance, betting makes lots of sense.
Yep. Also, you can get value out of worse aces.
Yep.
And any pair, really. Probably going to call once.
But there are some pretty good practical reasons to check back as well.
Sure.
Alex is not folded yet, which is interesting.
I think Alex just takes his time wrong.
Looks like he's raising.
Whoa.
This is completely random, out of nowhere, no combinatorial reason.
My guess is it's Danny. Danny's wide and spewy, so I'm going to take a shot at him. This is the kind of board this would work a lot.
It
Yeah.
sort of is, but the problem with the board is that Danny's not going to believe him too much. It's the combos are few and far between for value raises here.
That 6 actually would hurt him as well because ace deuce now gets counterfeited.
Yep. And
But-
Alex just gave up right away.
I think it's smart to give up on the 6.
And Danny sees there's no reason to take a shot.
Yeah. Danny's almost always good on the river, but what can call him, really,
Right.
right? Was Alex raising a worse ace and is going to
seems
call?
Unlikely. We haven't seen Alex play, but most players are not going to do that.
Yeah. And then aren't going to call the river, even if
Yeah.
they were.
Pot control Danny, they call him. Is that what they call him?
The molecule going after Danny a little bit.
The moneymaker molecule.
Yeah, really. The money cule. That's a weird thing to say. Seriously, where did Dan Ross get that haircut? Is that Dan Ross?
It can't be.
He was once an accountant and he won that satellite online. And
Yeah.
it's
Either that or that's the guy who was sitting on my left last time I played the Daily Deep Stacks, the Rio. I don't
yeah.
know.
His name was Chet.
It's a huge change in the look for Dan Ross. It's
It is
just,
shocking and weird.
Remember those hats back in the day?
but the voice is the same.
Yeah.
They were all white, and they would have they were college hats, and they would have the logo in all capital letters. In high school, everybody thought it was so funny to have Gamecocks or Beavers.
He's still got that great storytelling
Right.
thing going too.
You never had a starter jacket? Oh shoot! I'm sorry.
Actually, Dan Ross tells some of the best stories at the
He
poker
does.
table.
He does.
To be fair. ATC continues to be NTC.
Yeah. No 2 cards.
Yes. Slutsky out.
That's a good way to end a radio conversation.
Yes. Or a phone conversation.
Dusty's going to 3-bet.
No, he's
No,
going
it's
to
just raise. Oh, because
We're playing 5, 10, 20.
I see. Dan Russ is in the third blind. I see. That makes sense.
It's 5, 10, 20 all the way here.
I now understand poker.
Top pair for Dan Ross.
Dusty's going to bet big. Looks like 125 into 160.
Well, it ain't going to work yet, Dusty.
That's for sure. That's a great card for Dan. Dusty's
Dusty's-
going to keep going.
Well, hearts and gut shots. You may get some folds out of those.
He's also putting on maximum pressure. He's repping an overpair.
Yep.
Unless Dan has a 5, it's not a comfortable spot.
But Dan finds a call, and let's see if there's a. That's not a great. Oh, it's a great card for Dan. Not a great. I mean, that seems like a card Dusty could decide to take a shot.
He could
at.
rep this card, and that would be a
Yeah.
disaster because I don't see Dan ever folding.
So Dusty slams on the brakes.
Dan's now hoping that Dusty has a hand like 10s or jacks, and that he could maybe eke out some value.
Yeah, like Dusty could have bet here to try and fold out a 9. That's all he would have been doing, and instead, in theory, anyway, you could bluff catch against hearts and really just hearts.
That's a big bet,
Yep.
almost pot size.
Dan's hoping that Dusty has king queen and was
Yep.
pot controlling the river.
Nice start to the session for Dan Ross, who just really got wrecked in our last session.
Oh boy, did he! I believe you came up with the term "curving towards infinity"
Yeah,
to describe his play.
yeah.
That was amazing. So yeah, we're glad to see Dan Ross getting back on the horse and this time not falling. Just maintaining an even trot.
Well, it's only been a couple minutes. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm just, I don't want to talk about the future.
Right.
I want to talk about the present. I'm not a future guy.
Yeah. Be in the present.
Yeah. And the past. Got to live in the past because that's what we know about.
Just be here now, man.
But when you're thinking about the past, you are doing that in the present. So you're
I
kind
never
of in
think
the
about
present.
the past or the future. I don't even know my name.
You would know your name.
Why?
That's a weird question. Slutsky opening with the ace queen. I'm just going to not answer it.
Great.
Alex has a wow.
Whoa! That's an interesting fold. Unexpected.
Shocking fold on the button for 55. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. He called the queen 9 off out of the big blind.
He was in the big blind.
I mean, that's but you have position when you're on the button.
But you close the action at least in the big blind.
9-7 suited deep stack poker
I'm
is
with
a
you.
better hand than queen 9.
In position.
Yeah.
Yep. All the things.
We haven't seen any Stewart-related action yet.
Maybe because he lost the queen 9 hand, he's just not playing hands with 9s in them.
Right, of course. That makes perfect sense. Although some players do think that way.
It's amazing. Slutsky going to open 7s.
2 in a row. Can't believe him the second time.
Why would you? And takes it down.
ATC
Whoa.
is...
Did Danny just fold ace-7 suited? That's not Danny.
Can't be right.
That's what it said.
That's strange.
What is happening right now?
I don't know. And the guy named ATC hasn't even played a hand, let alone shown his hand to the card reader. I don't think we've actually seen his cards.
I think we saw him once. He had like 3-4. 3-4 suited. But I don't understand any of this. Is it just because we're at the beginning of the session? Everyone's
Could be.
trying to play tight. Still, Danny throwing away ace-7 suited for one raise doesn't make any sense to me. Goes against everything I know in the world.
Yes, I agree.
Corn is rice, apparently.
Rice is corn.
Oats are fucking linoleum.
All of the grain-based things that you thought were true are not.
And Danny folds 6-3 suited.
All right, ATC is going to take a flop with Jack 7, unless Stewart,
Whoa.
who has aces, doesn't let him, and I don't think he should.
Stewart, not known for just calling in this situation.
It would be a massive, massive surprise if Stewart put in a call here.
Yes. And of course, there's no way he's going to do it.
I'm going to say 225 is the number he goes with.
That's a reasonable number. Looks like it's 240. 270.
That's big.
Yep. And it's over.
It's a little disappointing for Stewart, but that's going to be the result a lot of the time when the button opens and the small blind calls. We get a decent amount of folds there.
Yeah. But, as long as you have some bluffs there, too, and you get them all through, it's fine.
Yeah.
Got to get all the bluffs through.
It's just sad in the moment. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. Alex now with Big Slick. Probably going to play this one.
I've been surprised before.
Ooh, he goes for the limp. Tricky.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's planning on limp raising.
I hope so. But he's not going to get the chance.
3-way action.
A king would be rough for Stewart, but, sometimes you have to live in the
And
world.
there it is.
Well, Stewart's going to lose some money here.
What a deal. What a nice flop for ace king.
I mean, he's up against the blinds. Sandy could absolutely have 7 deuce off
He
there,
could, but it's a pretty nice flop.
of course it is.
Jack's a little
pretty
wet.
easy. It's not that wet when Stewart's just completed from the big blind.
Well, sure. I mean, it completes a few hands and some draws, but Stewart
Doesn't
drawing
complete-
dead
Doesn't
almost.
complete any draws. Jack completes no draws.
Well, what I mean by completes is introduces.
So we could bet then.
Yeah.
Ace king, yeah. Looks like Alex is just going to check it back on the river here, and Stewart will take his medicine.
Hearts did come in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay to check that back. It's going to be really hard to get value, I guess. I don't think Stewart's calling.
He might have called with a king, but it's hard to say.
Probably not when Alex goes bet.
Yeah, probably not.
So Alex got a little value.
Yeah. Or just a couple more games. Yeah. I would say a couple more games, not the not all the way. Yeah. But just like the Texaha and the Drama Haas.
That's not a default game. Right, it's 100.
About the draw games that two people have to sit.
Yeah.
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 This is like a baseball hat convention.
Those are good. I love baseball hat conventions.
Yeah. Just that one angle, really.
What's notable about this hand is that Dusty made it 100. It's a 5x. It's not absurd, but it's unusual.
Yeah, it's a lot more than most people are doing it. Like, Slutsky's opening a 50, isn't he?
He did a few times.
Yeah. And getting it through. Like, he
Yeah.
opened 2 7s to 50, everyone folded. So it's interesting Dusty's making it twice as much. We'll see if he adjusts that or not as we go on, I guess.
I mean, if anything, you could add more games to the 1-3.
Just add the double flop games like you both are all.
Danny is a refreshing yellow in a sea of darkness.
Yes, he saves us.
You don't play her, Jay. What do you think about the bomb pod?
Longtime watchers of Poker Time may notice that things are a little different. That's right. They've renovated.
They're mid-renovation.
Okay, fine. Yes, they're not completely finished, as you can see, but they are. A lot of it's come a long way, and it's looking pretty good up there. That beautiful blue background. Come on, it's like being in
It's going to be
the Caribbean.
shining gold by the time we're done here. Everything gold.
Sounds good. Dan Ross.
Dusty flops nothing.
Yeah. Dan Ross, pretty straightforward check back there, and
For sure.
yep.
Got to go for value now, but he's not going to get any.
Try and get value out of a king. And $30, even 30.
Dusty has a card that plays. You could call for with 9 high for the TV clout.
Not too much TV clout. It'd be really shocking for Dan Ross to show up with a worse hand than 9 high based on the way he played it.
Yeah.
But you'd be a god forever. You'd be a king on the West Coast, in West Coast poker.
Right. Everybody would bow to you.
Dusty walks into Bay 101 and people are like, that's the guy
Yeah. He called $30 on the river.
with 9 high, and he was right. Yeah. But not yet.
Yeah, that's
Not today. ATC, reaching for chips.
We're going to see some ATC action, but we're not going to see his cards.
It's fun. It's fun not to know.
I would love not to know. $50.
Even with the one bomb pot sitting out, kind of sucks. You have a full table.
And hand is over. We'll never know.
Little surprised Dan didn't call 30 more with King 5 suited.
Me too.
It's been a tighter game than
It's
we're
been
used to.
weirdly tight. Even Danny folding a 7
Yeah.
suited. Alex folding 9-7 suited.
Maybe during the renovation they hit like a gas line.
Maybe.
Everybody's a little sleepy.
Maybe there's a rule that if you start with the worst hand pre-flop, you only get half the pot or something.
Oh, I've
the other
heard
half
about that.
The other half has to stay in there.
Yeah, that's like a municipal law in Portland.
That would be an interesting. That really changed the dynamics of the game a little bit. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And the other half pot has to go to charity, but to the person who started with the best hand's choice of charity. That's all you have to do. I mean, that's a brilliant idea.
It's so smart.
Charity poker. Who wouldn't want to see something called charity poker?
Everybody.
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 How about
Mackenzie Scott.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
Literally.
I got you.
Yeah, you're on that one. She might not watch it, but she would fund it.
Yeah, because she's just like, woo.
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
They couldn't get a tow, so they had to put it into a U-Haul, right?
But I don't even understand. What was the point of knocking it over? Like, why can't you just tow it away?
No, he couldn't tow it away for some reason. He didn't have a way to tow it. Strong for towing.
Okay.
I'm going to interrupt this towing discussion to say something meaningful. I'm not sure what yet, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, no, this is better. You always come up with the best stuff when you're.
It looks
not
like
sure.
Alex is thinking, oh, no, he's not. Okay. Dusty's looks like he's making it 100 again. No, that's much less. 55. So
Huh.
maybe he's recognized nobody else is sizing it like that
Yeah,
and decided to go with the consensus
it's only
sizing.
been like 4 hands, but maybe.
There is a gut shot for Dusty. Nothing for Danny except some back doors.
No, 75.
And that's
Hand
going to
over.
do it. If you recognize, Dusty's sizing has been pretty big in all scenarios
Yeah.
so far. Except for that pre-flop raise. His sizing has been bigger than we typically see pre- and post-flop.
Sometimes that's all you need.
That's sort of Dusty's game. We both play with Dusty.
Yep.
He likes to put pressure on people.
Yep.
I wouldn't say people would accuse him of having a light touch. ATC is going to play, and we're just going to stay blind to his cards for a while. At some point, we're going to start to see them. Probably.
Okay, maybe somebody will coach him. Somebody who might be paying attention.
Anyway, Stuart with. Well, he's got the back doors.
He's got a couple back doors,
Probably
but
calls this once, right?
50 and he's gotten 3-1. It's pretty good. It's not great.
There's-
Oh,
hey, look what just
We
showed
got
up.
top pair for ATC. I think we'll see a float here from Stewart. I don't expect a raise. That would be surprising. But it's possible. No, he just lets it go.
Interesting. I think all three options were on the table. I mean, I thought fold was the least likely, quite
Loser
frankly.
and
Me
a
too.
golden shower. Do you want a golden?
And we're back.
You want one?
Feels great.
Yeah, it's good.
It feels better than great. Because
Feels
great is just a measure of magnitude, Jonathan.
it feels greater than better. Because better is also a measure of things.
You know what? You just outsmarted me there. I can't say anything else.
Checkmate.
Yeah. You're like the Queen's Gambit right now.
Mm-hmm. I like that movie, The Queen's
Yeah,
Gambit.
yeah. Animated film,
Yeah.
1971.
With
Connery. Connery is the voice actor for the
Sean Connery. He
for
played the
bishop.
woman.
No, the bishop.
Oh, the bishop. That's cool.
Yeah.
He still only says James Bond things, though, even though
Of
he's the bishop.
course.
It's like, Money Penny,
Yeah.
come over here.
They make it work.
Doctor, no. Things like that. Anyway, here's Dan Ross with Pocket Force. Danny, in the past, has never folded a hand like this. Okay.
All right, here we go. Come on, Danny. Put the chips
He
in.
found himself a little bit. Let's go with the 9 deuce.
Wow, amazing.
All right, heads up.
The Dans. And it's an okay flop for Danny and a terrible flop for Dan Ross.
Yep. But it's the kind of flop you can rep pretty comfortably as Dan Ross with his range.
Yep, I expect a call. There it is.
And boom, boom, boom. And will Dan Ross take another shot? I say no.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really get Danny to fold even a good queen at this point, so
Danny
probably not
checks it back and gets there.
in a way.
Interesting check back by Danny. Surprised he didn't bet that.
And Dan's just going to give up. I imagine Danny will check and hope he's good. You can't really expect to fold Dan off of an ace, right?
Or a queen?
Maybe you can try to fold him off of a queen.
Come on. You can't fold him off a queen for $85. And how can you get called by a worse hand? You can get called by 2 sevens here?
I mean, Dan
This is-
does have a worse hand, and it looks like he's thinking about
that
it.
would be wild if after I said
Yeah.
that, and he called the 2 fours. ATC is just sitting there like staring at nothingness, man. It's like he's contemplating his own demise
He might be. There's no way to know what's in a man's head, Jonathan.
in his heart
Well, it's like valves and
and,
stuff.
and arteries.
Yeah, yeah.
Blood.
There's some chambers.
Yeah, there's multiple chambers, I
Yeah.
believe. Like 12? I think there's 12.
They're 12 to 15.
Oh, no, it's 538. 538 is the number.
Oh, that's because of the Nate Silver thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Anyway, playing 5, 10, 20 feels good. You know, feels real good. Good times.
There's Danny.
Danny's
opening.
starting to lubricate the old gears a little bit.
Let's not use that language on the stream, please. Danny opens to 50. It's interesting that the open has become 2.5x. It's just kind of naturally settled there.
Well, we'll see if it stays there. So Alex calls. I mean, it's
He's-
only 30. He's closing
getting
the action.
He's getting quite a good price. There's
See, a
18.
9-7 suited.
All right,
that
this is
other
a little
time.
bit more ATC from ATC.
Yes.
Queen 9 off on the button.
I've never had duck sauce.
And that's
7
Alex
for Alex.
hits a 7.
Expect Danny to continue here.
Does have 2 back doors along with a range advantage.
You don't have to bet very much. I think $50 will do it. Certainly 60 or 70. He's gonna go a little bigger, 85. ATC is thinking. Is he thinking about making a move?
Well, it'd be fun if we saw a float or a raise here.
Yes. Even a float puts Alex in terrible shape and probably can't even call with the 7, right? What are you gonna do? What's the plan?
He thought about it, but he didn't do it. It would have probably worked, especially the raise.
Alex is in one of those spots where you're just sitting there like, well, I guess I have to call. I hope he
Yep.
doesn't keep betting.
Yep.
Wouldn't be amazing.
That's not a great card for Alex.
Nope.
The question is, would Danny bet a queen?
I don't think he would.
And that's maybe why he slows down there.
But he would bet a queen on the river, and let's see if he takes a shot now. Or he can rep ace queen pretty comfortably, or any queen, really.
Really, any queen, yeah.
He's going to try.
250. It's almost a pot-sized bet.
Would he bet 250 with a queen? Maybe. He's Danny. He bets big. He might. Tough spot for Alex.
When
now.
Alex checks twice on turn and river, you don't really put him on too many kings. It feels pretty safe. And he makes the call
I like
anyway.
This feels like the right call because he kept checking, and
Yeah.
it's sort of like the problem is we always have a 7, right? So we can't call with all of them, but
Well, it was a nice call.
yep. We can't fold them all either, though.
It's a mystery.
Can't call them all.
Can't fold them all.
Can't fold them all. How do we decide? I don't know.
That's something for the Breakdown Poker podcast with the poker guys.
Well, when is that going to happen?
It happens all the time, right on your podcast app.
Wow, this has turned into an ad. What a delight.
There's like 550 episodes available or something like
Something ridiculous. It's free?
that. It's free.
That's crazy. That's impossible.
It'll make you taller.
Are movies free now, too? Because this is basically a movie
It depends on how you define free.
and movie.
Yeah.
Dan Ross, King Jack, but only 7-handed.
Yeah, you can open that if you want.
And like you said, Grant, it seems like everyone has settled into this $50 open size.
It's easy to put 2 chips in there, you know?
Yeah.
It's just how games go. It's interesting.
Alex has what would be a shocking fold.
You could 3-bet this hand.
Yep. I think it's an interesting candidate. Dan Ross is under the gun, but still.
Dusty's going to complete as well, and we will see the flop 4 ways.
You don't love it as Dusty, but it's only $30.
You got to call.
And there's top pair for Dan Ross. Everything going the Ross way.
Sandy Slutsky has pair and a gut shot.
Yep. Just can't fold yet.
Sucks to have 2 players behind you.
Yep. At least with the queen, you block the nuts. Only 1 heart for Alex.
Looks like he's thinking about it, though.
What is he? Nah, he's
No,
not.
he's just kind of one of those guys.
He's just like, oh, it's my turn.
Yeah. And there is the,
Bing,
the
bing,
straight
bing.
for Slutsky.
Now, of course, he can definitely be losing, and Dan Ross has a blocker to the nuts, but his hand's probably too good to get cute.
Yeah, Dan knows that's a bad card for him. That's a bad card for everybody.
Yep. Probably time for Sandy to bet, though. Hard to get called by a lot, though.
You just really hope that you can get heroed.
Does somehow, if Dan has pocket 7s, you might get called. But he might bet if we check that anyway, right?
I don't think he can take his jack and turn that blocker into a raise here because Slutsky can have some full houses here that he's not folding.
He can have 10-9 specifically, right?
You can have 8-9.
Yeah. That said, Dan Ross has a pretty good bluffing hand with King Jack. He blocks King Queen and Jack 9.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
but is it good enough?
I don't know.
Which kind of asks the question: is any hand good enough to bluff in that scenario and that
Yeah.
run out
Yeah. I imagine Sandy is folding to a raise.
with just a queen? Yeah, that's one of his worst hands that he's betting.
Yep. Agreed.
Maybe the worst.
Yeah. I don't know. He might bet trip 9s.
Maybe.
If he has ace-9 suited, he calls that flop and might bet it for value.
Maybe when he gets the check back on the turn, you
'Cause
would really
it's-
expect Dan to bet a queen on the turn.
Yep. And if Dan has a worse straight, you're going to pay him off anyway for some normal amount. So
Yeah.
you can bet it yourself. Try and get called by worse. But again, what worse hands are calling? Hard to come up with a lot.
Yep.
You need Dan to have like King 9 suited.
Or be curving towards infinity.
Yes, we have seen Dan make a lot of ace high hero call type things. So not that he would ever call with ace high on that board, but he might hero a little bit. Giving Dan Ross a chance to hero can't be the worst thing in the world.
And it took me off the highway path down into the city and to kind of kill some,
Where were you at?
cut time. I don't fucking know. And then, you know, you're in the middle of the buildings, it totally lost my GPS.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So now I'm like rolling around. I was in a fleet parking lot at one time doing donuts. So
We've got heads up action, and Dan is saying, "Don't you dare get in my pot." Dusty doesn't want to be pushed around, but he's going to let it happen this time.
Yeah. Dusty got seduced by the lure of the, it's only $10.
Yep. And the problem with a player like Dan Ross on your left is that's not really a good enough reason to call because he's going to do that a lot.
I think he is. Dan Ross likes to put money in the pot.
Yep.
He's not afraid to move his chips around, Grant.
Did you say afraids? Kind of like
I think I did.
a 1920s guy.
Not afraid to do it.
Yeah, I ain't afraid.
Yeah.
Kappa.
Kappa.
Come at me, Kappa. I ain't afraid.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
If they were ever casting a movie for people from back then, they
would.
might,
Yeah,
they'd
they would
put you
cast
right
me.
in.
I've been asked.
Did you turn it down?
I did. I have integrity.
Wow. I'm shocked. Alex with the real hand.
I'm under contract with the poker guys. I can't appear in other items of
I
media.
tried to trick you into it. Maybe next time.
Dan Ross with the Portland hand, but he does not play it. Danny would have made it $600.
True that.
No, I'll take it.
Nothing for no one.
That goes good with a golden shower.
You might have heard Dan Ross utter the phrase golden shower. Well, that's a drink that is served, so
It's being served right now.
that's not it's not anything else that you sick freaks are thinking about.
You don't know.
Well, maybe he means it the other way. I don't know.
Dan Ross, I mean,
Who can know?
he's a deviant. I mean, you made a whole case. You don't know what's in someone's heart or
Yeah,
mind.
you're right. You know what? I have to own up to that.
Good man.
Dan Ross was probably talking about the pee thing.
That's more like it.
To where? Any beach? Oh, nice.
Nice hand for Slutsky.
Raise 55 fold.
55 seems to be Slutsky's number while everybody else makes it 50.
Didn't he make it 50 with sevens?
I don't know.
Maybe it was
I remember
55.
him making it 55 multiple times.
Okay.
Look, we have a bunch of playable hands here.
Yeah. All Broadway. It's like Mandy Patinkin. And great flop for Danny. Well, not a great flop.
No,
for
it's
Dan.
a
Sorry,
bad-
great flop for Slutsky.
It's a terrible flop for Danny.
And a terrible flop for Danny. Yeah, but especially with Danny having a strong hand as he does there. Ace Jack is about the best ace Danny's going to show up with most of the time.
Yeah, he's usually 3-betting ace queen.
Yeah, he's sometimes 3-betting Ace Jack.
Oh, you did? I never did.
ATC cannot continue.
I don't. He just takes some time in these spots, I guess, because he did that last time too with the
Looks like he's
Queen
thinking
nine.
about, stuff.
Infinity.
Yeah.
How big a number is it really? Though? How big is
It's
Infinity?
around 100.
Could you fit Infinity into a very small child?
It depends what size is Infinity. 3-5 gets there.
and Cindy checks. Interestingly,
The second deuce shouldn't matter too much,
I
but
mean-
3-5 is still a concern.
usually Danny's going to bet 3-5, and certainly now that he's checked again, you can feel. Sorry, he wouldn't necessarily bet it on the turn, but now
No,
he would
on the
bet
river.
it.
Yeah, you can bet big as Sandy or Slutsky and hope to get called.
Well, this is it's the perfect spot to get called. 325. He sizes it up. I don't know how you can fold this as Danny when it
Yeah.
goes check on the turn.
I like the sizing. I think maybe you could even go bigger.
You would just think that like the big aces often are going to bet the turn, right? I understand 3-5 came in, and there's the call.
It's just a mandatory call from Danny. He had an inkling that it was no good the way he was contemplating there,
The
but
size is not great. Like,
No.
is Slutsky going to bet 325 with ace 10 there? I'm not sure.
you're beating bluffs mostly.
Yeah.
But it's just your hand is too good to fold. That's just
Yep.
part of poker sometimes. And
Yep.
Danny is down 900 as a result of some of these things. Slutsky the big winner along with Alex.
It's way more like mind than body. Like the problem is the water is like
I don't even remember Danny losing this money. So I guess he just lost $400
Yeah,
just now.
and he's lost other hands as well.
That would do it. Losing other hands too.
Yeah.
About $500 worth, I guess.
Your math is impeccable.
Yes, it is.
hyperventilate. It's like really about controlling your breath.
Here's Slutsky.
Most people just sit. They don't swim.
That's the kind of nickname you'd have for someone. Hey, it's Slutsky.
Yeah, but it's his actual last name.
Yeah. I see that. Dusty making it 60 now. So he's sort of, it's like close your eyes and see what happens. Kind of a race
he's like, you know what? I'm not going to let these guys dictate my open size, and now I'm going to lose a little extra money because Dan Ross is going to 3-bet. Although, you know, Dusty might call and win. That could happen too.
Interesting. It'd be curious to see if Dusty decides to stick around here.
Dusty doesn't like to give up.
Well, it seems like you are correct because there's clearly only one decision, only one path on that train. The rails were already laid long ago. And
Ace of Diamonds for Dan Ross is a beacon of hope.
indeed.
And he's going to do the, you know, small C-bet thing, which you're supposed to do on this board in a 3-bet pot. It's going to work.
Yeah, Dusty was really looking just to hit something. He didn't, and he's out. See, when you make that play with ace queen, you kind of feel like you got away with something, but you always have the best hand, right?
Pretty much always, but it feels good to deny the equity for $100 anyway.
Yeah, because otherwise you may not be able to win that pot.
Yeah.
Even if they, you know, they may bluff you, right?
Yeah, or car, yeah. But I mean, you know, there's so many. If you go to the Oregon coast after a big storm and you walk along the shore, you know,
How did she die? She got hit by a tree. Where was she at?
in the ocean.
What street was she at?
Oh, I think our dealer Devin just made a mistake.
No.
2 cards to Alex at the same time.
Don't
instead
say
of
it.
one.
Don't say it. She's dealt the final hand of the World Series main event. She doesn't make mistakes.
She is one of the best dealers in the world.
That is accurate.
That's why I like to point out when she makes mistakes. And Slutsky has aces.
Oh,
And they give him a walk.
at least he's been running good so far. It hurts so much more. If he were down 900 like Danny, that hurts so much more.
Yeah, but it always hurts at least a little.
Of
I mean,
course.
not even a limp. He doesn't even get a limp.
It's a little tough, especially in a 3-blind game.
It's like everyone got a penalty and had to sit out the hand, and he just got to win.
Or they all had a hernia at the same time.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah.
Like a really quiet hernia.
Yeah.
Dusty's going to limp 7s.
Interesting. Haven't seen him limp yet.
I think we have.
Not open limp, at least.
You're probably right.
And it's just Alex left now. He's got 9s. Wow.
Well.
Raise could definitely be in order here.
I expect a raise.
At least $80, I would think.
I think 100. Alex is agreeing that at least he's going to bump it up.
75.
Huh.
95 total. 75 more. Okay. There
So
we
he
go.
Almost split the difference there. Pretty close. Top
7s.
set. Top set for Dusty.
The dustification has begun. And this is just one of those boards with 9s that you
wow.
you feel comfortable. You feel pretty comfortable.
Pretty good time to raise. It's a wet board, too.
The way Dusty has played it, though, he definitely could have a set.
Yes, true.
And Dusty does
But you
just
could also
call.
have clubs. You
Yep.
could have 2 5s.
Clubs do come in.
They sure do. And Alex checks right away.
I mean, he can't beat really much of anything except for 8-9, which he blocks heavily.
He can beat like 8-7
Yeah, which he
and
doesn't block.
8-6.
Yeah.
Just like Bushwood is yours.
Probably can't fold.
I would think 2 5s might bet here, too, if we check. Any pair might bet if we check, right? To deny equity.
This would be kind of an incredible fold.
I don't see how you can
if
fold
Alex
this.
would
Look
make
at the
it.
price he's getting. He's got an overpair.
He looks very uncomfortable. His body language.
His face does look like the face of a man who is beaten.
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 He lets it
does
go.
Let it go. Wow, what a fold.
That'll be a splash to end this episode of Poker Time. We'll be back next week with the next section of this
Well
session.
said. No, that's really well said.
No, I know. That's why I'm the guy. Here we go.
Pretty good hand though.